Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome if you are new. My name is Sandy and I'm a homeschool mom. And this year we're doing things a little differently than we did last year. If you've seen some of my day in the life videos, which I don't have very many videos up right now, I apologize for that. I keep recording small snippets, and then as you moms probably know, life happens, little distractions, little things, and I don't finish recording. This year I'm hoping to be a lot better with that. So last year we were doing a lot of the good and the beautiful, so we were doing separate subjects and we were doing some of their science. We were doing not consumed for our Bible studies. This year we're going a little bit of a different route. The good and the beautiful is great, but it's not always that great for multiple children and independent learning. I feel like I had to be present with a lot of that. So this year, my son is doing Time for Learning online. He loves that. He gets through so many modules. Sometimes he only needs to be getting done maybe 3 modules or 2 modules and a quiz for his whole lesson. And that kid will get 2 lessons a day done if I let him. He loves math so much, and they give him these little video lessons and he loves that. So then afterward, all he's gonna do is answer the questions inside of the lessons, and then he's gotta answer the questions on the quiz, and they just make it really fun. So he loves that. And then both of my kids are doing their language arts in Time for Learning. My daughter needed something a little bit different this year than the good and the beautiful or Time for Learning. And instead of, I forget what the curriculum is called when it kind of goes round in a circle, circular learning, where she needed something that was more mastery. And so we're doing Learn Math Fast system. This has been going really great so far. We're only on the second book. This is book 1, and there's a second book. And we'll see how it goes once it starts getting into some of the harder stuff. But right now, she's doing really well with that. I think she's a lot more confident in that. And I'm doing a separate video, a flip through video, so you guys can see exactly how that works and what that looks like. I think that it's really neat. She's in 7th grade, so we only do 30 minutes of math now a day. And that was the difference between 2 to 3 hours, most days being 3 hours of math just for her to complete her math because she just wasn't getting it the other way. So that's a huge difference for us. For everybody's sanity, we are doing Not Grass, our 50 states. And so this is our, I want to say history, it's geography. And we just started this though. But if you see that, I love how this is looking so far. And this is our together subjects. So they do math and language arts separately, and they do it independently. These we're doing together. So it's Maine, talking about the potatoes and the wild blueberries and the state capitol and, main things. I feel like main things. No, just the important things, I guess is what I was trying to say. It goes into lesson 2, and then sometimes it has recipes or other things that you can be looking up. I sometimes rent other books in the library depending on what they're talking about. Like if they just touch on a national park, maybe I'll get another small book that has lots of pictures of the national park so they get a really good idea of what they're learning about or the place. It's New England. Oh, this is what we were gonna work on, was making blueberry muffins, just because of all the blueberries and that in Maine. They got stories, songs, let's see what else, and then they kind of go by region. So so far we've only gotten through Maine, to be honest. But I've flipped through so much of this already, and I don't know. I think that this is really interesting in the Midwest. That's where I live. I don't recommend it, but if you like the cold and you like temperature changing from morning to afternoon to evening to night, then yes, come to the Midwest. But yeah, just lots of beautiful pictures. I'm really excited to go through this for our Together subject. I bought one of their books that comes with it that has lots of questions, just seeing what they remember. It just has, I think every other chapter, it'll just have a question on there. I didn't buy 2 of those workbooks. I figured I was just gonna buy one. They can share it and it's just gonna be discussion. We're just gonna discuss and then they can answer me out loud. And that way I'm not buying 2 separate books, you know, saving a little bit of money, but also my kids don't enjoy just extra book work. They really like discussion type things. So it just made more sense. However, I did get 2 notebooks. I got these 2 from Amazon. I mean, they're the same thing. But this seller has a lot of these kinds of notebooks and they have so many pretty designs in here. And they're one of the few that I found on Amazon that, you know, aren't tiny little notebooks that have this. So it's picture on one side and writing all down the other side. I've seen a lot of books where there's the picture on top of both and writing at the bottom of both. And I don't know why, but I don't like that quite as much. I think it's just because I would like to see a big dedicated side to note-taking and writing, you know, little excerpts or bullet points about maybe the thing you found most interesting about Maine, and then I don't know, some other things that really just caught your attention, and then maybe drawing like a lobster, maybe drawing the blueberries, maybe drawing part of the national park, or whatever it is that you think is the most important thing that you could represent in Maine. Trying to see if you can draw the state of Maine on here. So just trying to think of different ideas that way, and that way they can color it in, they can paint it, they can do whatever they want on this side, right? And we can do that as a family. So I thought that would be really fun, and then it would kind of give them a little time to be creative. And since we won't be doing our 50 states every day, I feel like that would be really doable if we're only doing that a couple of times a week. It's not like I'm making them, even though as a kid I would love to just be focusing on art like every single day as like my main thing, and my daughter really loves art. My son not so much. He loves the math and he loves other things. But I'm not making them do this more than they want to. I think I just want to be able to focus on doing something like this so we can do it together a couple times a week. We can learn together. We're going through our states. That way we can also branch into our history on another day. And then something that we're doing sometimes once a week, sometimes twice a week for our science, we are still going through space. So this is something that we were doing some of last year, but they have so many questions about this, and we were just going by some textbooks or some other books that we had already. And I just decided to buy this for this year. I saw it at the library and I flipped through it. I really liked it. Young Explorer series, Exploring Creation with Astronomy, Apologia. That's what I couldn't remember the name of that. Going through the lessons, so our other Together subject, we have a ton of science books, not just science books, sorry, specifically space books. We have a good amount of them, and then I just went to our local, it's like a small bookstore, used books. It was great. They had a ton of that stuff too. Oh, and then our library was giving away that stuff for free over the summer. So I was like, great, it's, you know, this is meant to be. And so I bought a few more books that just looked really, really cool from, not the library, but the bookstore. And then with this, I just felt like it would make it a little bit more complete. So you're going through different lessons, and then you have your instructions of different projects you can do. That's one of the books that I bought, is a book on all science projects. So it has some space projects. One of the other books that we really like going through right now is this space one, Discover the Universe. I really love it because you can see the tabs there. It really is very, very simple. It's nothing very complicated. Space exploration. Space is explored in 2 ways. Most space exploration, ... The first pictures, did you know type of stuff. And then all of this is about space exploration. Here we go. This is where we left off. I don't want to lose that. So exploring space, but then you go into this, the green, and it goes in a little bit more into the night sky and astronomy, star patterns. And then if you keep going, let's see, space telescopes. Then it goes into laws of nature, well, this is called like the universe, so anything that would encompass that, light years, the red shift, and then stars and galaxies. So this whole red section is stars and galaxies, diagrams, pictures, clusters. And then the blue part is all about solar systems. It'll say on the top like solar changes, and then it gives you little facts. So you can go through one of these a day, and it's super simple. Like sometimes we'll read that lesson, and then we'll read one of these. And then there's another book that I have, and I'll probably just I'll do a video on all of the space books that I have or that we're reading through, because I just feel like there's so many. I have this really big book that is, I'll just grab it, it's right behind me. Okay, the planets. Sorry, I have like a mess behind me, just ignore that, please. So this is one of the ones that I got from my local bookshop. It looks like this. It's beautiful, and it has so many beautiful pictures. So contents look like this. It has the sun, it has the earth, it has asteroids, Jupiter, and it's kind of interesting because it will show what the surface looks like, but what the surface looks like at different temperatures also, which is not really something that I really thought about. Like these two are the same. They are both the sun. And it depends on how they've captured that picture. These are also the sun. But they do explain down here how they were able to capture that picture, what kind of telescope they were using, and why. I guess it looks like that. And then they have the moon, different kinds of pictures of Mars. It's just really neat to sometimes go through and try to understand, like among the asteroids. So it has lots of different pictures of what asteroids can look like or often look like. And then it even has individual names for specific asteroids, so you know what you're looking at. It tells you their location or how far they are. So that's what we're doing for our science. And yeah, I'm excited about that. We are doing a literature study, and it's one of our other together subjects that we do. So we go through different books right now together. And right now we are in the middle of doing The Little Prince, and I have some questions for them that they can either write down. I've been trying to get them to write it down in notebooks so that we can do things more notebooking style, so that eventually I have things for them. Sometimes they'll answer some questions, and then I will give them some vocab words kind of based on what we're learning in the book. With The Little Prince, we were learning about the author. We were learning how he was a pilot in real life and how he often went to the Sahara Desert. We learned about where he lived. They were talking about how in those days, because he's bringing letters back and forth overseas, that it was pretty normal for their planes to be broken down and how he incorporated that into his Little Prince story. And so then we went into plane mechanics and the kinds of planes that they were talking about in that story. We looked those up and we saw some black and white videos on those specific kinds of planes, how planes fly, how they work, aerodynamics. So anytime that there's an opportunity that we can take that learning experience elsewhere. We saw an article all about the author's life and everything that was kind of going on around the time when he was writing that book. And based off of a lot of those things, we had other questions based off of those. So we were looking up all these other things. And most of the time I do have everything set up ahead of time and I save all the websites so that we can go to those things when it comes up. It does take prep work, at least right now it does. And I don't mind that because I actually really like that kind of learning process where it just feels a little bit more natural, doing the reading out loud with each other, and then we're talking about what the author might have been alluding to, and then we go through our questions, which is kind of like, what do you think that the author was kind of trying to say about adults? And the Little Prince was going through all of these planets. He couldn't find a reasonable adult like the drunkard, or how the Little Prince would run into that one man who couldn't be bothered. He was just so focused on money and owning the stars, and the Little Prince just found it very odd why we thought that the Little Prince found it odd. I just really like those kind of discussions because they do have a lot of ideas and they like to think those kinds of things out. We just have fun discussing them on the couch or at the table. So we're trying to get as much richness out of each book as possible. And I think that right now that's probably my main goal, is to make sure that my kids are really well read. So we have a ton of books that we're trying to get through. However, we went to the library recently, and I don't think you can see it behind me, but we grabbed so many more books, and I'm trying to keep this in mind because I kept taking pictures of all these other books that I wanted to rent, and I'm thinking, we have our studies, and then we have our little like unit study, depending on the book that we're reading and stuff, and that takes up a good portion of our day when we do that. And I just have to keep that in mind. We do really love, I love that they love to read. So usually in between, as long as we get some of our other things done, you know, we'll say like, okay, this is a good time if you wanted to do independent reading. If we're in the car and going places, I always encourage them to bring one of their books or library books. That way they can get a chance to read however many books they want by the time, you know, it's time to go return them. I think that's kind of it for now, because our literature studies, I wanted to be able to do that almost every day, but with the schedule that we have right now, because we do co-ops, we have 2 co-ops this year, and I think I just stuck my foot in it. I think that I should have just stuck to 1 at most, because I didn't realize just, I mean, how worn out I was going to be if I was doing more than 1. But I'm still happy to be at both co-ops. It's just a little difficult when we're trying to manage our time. So I think next year we'll be trying to choose a good co-op that's a really good fit for us, if any, and just stick to that one. Just maybe focus on our other studies so that we feel like we have more time. My son has been in soccer. My daughter wants to go into basketball, but she's in ballet also. Not ballet. She used to be in ballet, she's in hip hop, she's in dance. Yeah, it's a lot. So they're getting to those ages where they really want to be a part of other things, and that just kind of means that we have to manage our time better. So lately I've been looking up a lot of information on how to do your own type of unit studies, literature studies, like the Socratic method or something like that, where you just read the book and you absorb as much as you can and you extract and you expand from there. And I've just been finding that really, really interesting. And I know other moms who do it. I just couldn't figure out what they do or how they do that by themselves without somebody telling them how to, breaking it down for them. But I feel like this year I've been getting a lot better at that and just feel like I know what I'm doing a little bit better than I used to. So if you guys want any advice, or if you want me to send any, do a video or send any links your way on explaining how to do something like that It's very, very fun once you get the hang of it, and there's just something very, I don't know, very calming actually about doing things in that kind of way, because you're just doing it together and you're in a flow. So let me know what kind of math you guys are doing, or what kind of science, the kind of curriculum that's been working for you. I would really love to hear that. I'm always just kind of looking for new books. If you guys have any book suggestions, I am always up for a good book suggestion for kids or for adults. If you guys want a video on what my kids have been reading, we can do videos like that. Just let me know below. I hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.